Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Nerd Herders. I'm Rich.
And I'm Nick.
And we are from the Over a Beer channel. We just want to thank everyone first off for supporting us in our first week. We're really excited to bring you another week. As you can see, we've already made some improvements. As we're the Over a Beer channel, we thought it only appropriate that we actually be drinking beer during the show. So today we are drinking Rivertown Pumpkin Autumn Ale.
Autumn ale.
Autumn Ale.
Autumn ale.
So, cheers. It's okay.
Spicy.
Yeah, it's got a spice to it. You can pick this up probably at any
Liquor store.
liquor store.
Yeah.
Where they go?
Maybe not Walmart.
Yeah, probably not Walmart.
Don't go to Walmart.
No.
Don't support them. They're evil. Episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2.
Attack of the Clones.
It's better.
Yeah. So, what do we got in store for people today?
We're gonna go over some news. You got
Yeah.
some news. You prepared some headlines for us to go over.
I have.
Then we are going to kind of get into what we've been up to again, just like last time. And then we're going to have a bit of discussion kind of looking into what October has in store for us as far as releases go. Movies, games, all that kind of stuff. And then we have a special game planned for the last segment of the show. I don't want to spoil it. We'll wait until then. We'll get into it then. If you have your news ready, let's get into it right now.
Alright, let's get into the news. Alright, so this week's top 5. For those who haven't caught on, each week Rich and I are going to switch off who picks the news stories. He doesn't know the stories I'm going to pick.
Nope.
Hopefully he's read about them. If not, it will be boring. Alright, so first story.
Okay.
Matt Damon is making the publicity rounds this week because his movie The Martian comes out on Friday. And one thing that he was asked about, not really sure why, probably because his good buddy Ben Affleck played Daredevil and is soon to be Batman. And they asked him if he would ever be a Marvel superhero or a superhero in general. And his response was he would love to do a Daredevil movie if Christopher Nolan were to direct it. Or if he wouldn't, he would direct it himself. So, my question for you is, well, a couple things. One,
Okay.
do you think he's being entirely serious? 2, do you think that, 1, Christopher Nolan would ever direct a Daredevil movie at this point? And 2, well, I guess would he make a good Daredevil? And then also, do you think we need a Daredevil movie after the Netflix show just kicked a lot of ass?
Just the short answer, I think, for all of this is pretty much no.
Okay.
I'm not quite as big as a fan of the Netflix show as you are. I think it's very good.
Okay.
I think it's a little repetitive, but I don't think we need another movie with different actors playing it. I think it needs to just stay in the same universe, and they have a lot of plans for the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
I don't see Nolan ever going to Marvel. He's done 3 Batman movies and is producing Man of Steel and all the DC stuff, or is involved in some way in most of the DC stuff. I don't see him going to Marvel, especially someone like him who is, I would imagine, he has a lot of control. He has a very distinct style. I don't see Marvel letting him kind of mess with their look and feel of their films.
Well, I sort of agree with
Okay.
you on, I don't think that he would do Daredevil. Because Daredevil is basically the Batman of the Marvel Universe. He's a vigilante, parents died at a young age, picking up their fight, blah, blah, blah. He's not a billionaire, he's dirt poor. But besides that, he really is, in a lot of ways, at least in his best incarnations, he's a lot like Batman. I think you felt a little bit of the Batman Begins feel and tone in the Daredevil Netflix show. And obviously, you have the other obvious connection. Daredevil became Batman. As you can see behind me, we got Ben Affleck, who was Daredevil, now going to be the Dark Knight. I don't think that Nolan would do that, but I do think that Nolan, I would never say that he would never do a Marvel movie.
No.
And I also think, I don't think that Marvel is in any rush to bring Daredevil to the big screen. I think that if they were, we would already see Charlie Cox, the Netflix Matt Murdock, in Civil War, which could happen, but a lot of the reports is that that's not happening.
Yeah.
They
seem to have their
they hit something.
Their universe planned out as far as the series goes.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, let's just say theoretically that Nolan was interested, Damon was on board. I think if they went to Marvel, like, who says no to them?
I mean, I guess.
Right? I mean, I don't see it happening, but the thing that was interesting about the quote was Damon was saying how he was up for the Daredevil role that Ben Affleck originally took. He decided not to do it because he loved the character so much, and he was just unclear of the vision of the movie. And Ben Affleck and him, I guess, both loved those comics. They were their favorite character growing up. They were, of course, were friends, and that it's always been a dream of his to play the character. So he did sound like he actually had some sort of passion behind it. It wasn't just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
And then that he adds that he would direct it. He has in the past said that he wanted to direct. Obviously, he gets asked that a lot because Affleck became a director. I could see something like that potentially happening. I would believe this a lot more if the Netflix show hadn't just happened and if they weren't currently shooting the second season.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting.
Oh, I mean, I'd watch it. I'll watch Matt Damon in pretty much anything. So, I mean, but I know rather than Kevin Feige or someone from Marvel was like, we're not going to have our universe be as serious and as dark as something like Nolan's trilogy or where the DC stuff is going now. So I don't.
Yeah. And I
feel like almost like they would say no, just because they're going to lose that creative control. They have a very much creative control, like we talked about last time for Spider-Man. They're kind of looking more for guns for hire, that kind of thing. Right. As someone like Nolan has his own style, is going to come in and say, "Well, this is what we're going to do, and this is what I want to do." And if you don't like it,
maybe that's not what they're interested in. I could see a few years down the line if the Marvel brand starts fading a little bit. Them opening it up to more people like Nolan. But by that point, Matt Damon would definitely be too old. He's still jacked, if you've seen the pictures for the new Bourne movie. He's still in great physical condition, but at a certain point he wouldn't be able to play that character. But interesting nonetheless to think about. So let's see here. Alright, this one, I'm not sure if this is a show that you've watched, but we had an interesting update on the great British show Black Mirror. Have you ever watched that?
I have not. It's been one of those things on my list I've been waiting to.
Alright, so Black Mirror is a show, an anthology show that has aired on Channel 4 over in England. For a while it ran 2 seasons. They've had like a couple specials as they do over there. And then it recently came to Netflix and really kind of blew up on Netflix. American audiences really grabbed hold. At least that's my take. That's how everybody was talking about it. I watched it. It's awesome. It's like a brand new Twilight Zone for the technology age. And it really is like, it's all about different ways in which we should fear technology. Each story is a totally different radical thing. They always have really good guest stars like Toby Kebbell was on it, Haley Atwell was on it, John Hamm's been in an episode, and they are great. But the interesting news that we got this week was that a 12 episode, the previous season lengths were 3 episodes, so a 12 episode third season has been acquired by Netflix. So it's going to be made and distributed via Netflix, which, the future is kind of this whole streaming content, but it's kind of funny that a show that's all about fearing the future of technology is going to the future of technology in a way. But this is pretty awesome news for anyone who's a fan of the show. If you have not checked out Black Mirror, go on Netflix, watch it. I'm telling you, go on, watch at least the first episode. And then I would implore you to watch the second episode and see how wildly different in tone it is, but how just as compelling. It really is a really cool show. If you like things like the Twilight Zone, stuff like that, definitely check it out. But knowing that Netflix is going to be doing a 12 episode season with the original creator, Charlie Brooker, are you excited?
I mean, I'm interested. I've been interested in the show since I heard about it. I just haven't gotten a chance to check it out. Now, I'm not too familiar with the way the show is structured and stuff like that. You said it's 3 episodes per season. So is it like Sherlock where they're like 90 minutes a piece, or are they... Okay.
Yeah, they're basically mini movies. They're all 90 minutes. I don't know if they'll keep that because it's 12 episodes. Maybe they'll be an hour. Not sure. We haven't heard those details. But none of them are connected in any way. They are their own individual stories entirely, like the Twilight Zone. Yeah. But even less connected. At least those had Rod Serling at the front, or on that UPN version that ran like 12 years ago, Forrest Whitaker. But they don't have anything like that. It's just a contained story, and they're really good, like across the board. Cool. So that's coming to Netflix next year, I believe, is the plan in 2016. So look forward to that if you didn't know. Got another superhero story.
Okay.
All right, so another guy that's been making the rounds for an upcoming movie, Hugh Jackman, has been promoting Pan, which he plays Blackbeard. Comes out in a couple weeks. And obviously he's getting a lot of questions about Wolverine and the future of him playing the character, etc. As he has been, and they're still going to do the Wolverine 3, or whatever they're going to call it. And he was talking a little bit about that, but what he was saying is he thinks that Tom Hardy should be the next Wolverine. Thoughts?
I remember seeing this story come out, and I just kind of shrugged it off. I'm not sure what to make of it. It's not that I don't think he could pull it off. I definitely think he could pull it off. He's very talented. I think it's difficult to see, because Jackman's been Wolverine for so long, it's just difficult to be like...
He maybe more than any other actor is the character that he plays. I mean, you can make the argument Downey Jr., nobody else can be Tony Stark. But I don't know if I buy that. How many people have been Batman?
Yeah.
And it works 70% of the time. But I think that I can't imagine anyone else playing Wolverine. I really can't. I think that when he goes away, he should go away for a long time. Crazy. There's ghosts in there. It is October. There's
That's
ghosts.
true.
I think that the character should go away for a while. Maybe they lure him back to play Old Man Logan. I don't know if you've ever heard of that story. It's sort of a post-apocalyptic Marvel universe.
Okay.
Logan is one of the only people left. It's sort of like Unforgiven, but with Wolverine. It's really cool. I could see something like that. That would be great. But Tom Hardy, he kicks ass. He's great in Mad Max. He's great in everything he's in. Honestly, I just saw the trailer for Legend. He looks awesome in that. But I think that he is a solid choice. I could see why Fox would not want to not have Wolverine, because obviously sell those movies.
But is it Wolverine, or is it Jackman that's selling them?
Or is it both?
Yeah, or is it...
Because a lot of times you've seen other Hugh Jackman movies not connect nearly as much with the audiences. But I don't know. Is it the character or is it the actor? I think it might be a combination of both. I think it's the same thing with, like, we see that a lot in franchises. Like, you see somebody like Daniel Craig as Bond. Those movies, the last one made over $1 billion, but like it seems like everything else that Daniel Craig does, nobody pays attention to.
Yeah.
So is it Bond or is it him? Or is it him as Bond that people are flocking to? It's really difficult, but it's funny, Tom Hardy is actually somebody that has been bandied about as the next Bond too. It seems like every franchise wants a piece of Tom Hardy, and I guess the question is, how much more Tom Hardy do we want?
As much Tom Hardy as they're going to give me.
All right, that's fair. So, I think that it's only a matter of time if Tom Hardy isn't cast as a Wolverine. He has said that he wants to be in more Marvel franchises.
He's going to be in something.
Stuff like that. I think he said he wanted to be the Punisher, but now they're doing the Punisher on Daredevil.
I can see him as...
But now they're doing that. He was going to be in Suicide Squad, but he had to drop out because the new Inaritu movie, The Remnant, was going long, so he couldn't do it.
He's going to be on it too.
So there's all sorts... He was obviously Bane, because he wants to stay in that world. So whether or not that's going to be his Wolverine, another interesting thing to think about.
Definitely.
All right, our fourth story today is going to be... it was recently revealed that there are plans in motion for a new Men in Black trilogy that will not, most likely, involve Will Smith, and probably not Tommy Lee Jones either, or Rip Torn. What do you think about this? Do you want more Men in Black? Do you want a Men in Black reboot?
I don't necessarily... I'm sort of on two sides on this.
Okay.
I love the first Men in Black. I even kind of dig the second Men in Black, and the third Men in Black. I think James Brolin does a great job as a young Tommy Lee Jones and kind of pulling off that look. And then I think by like the third movie, Will Smith was just kind of just phoning it in, and I think he's just there for the paycheck.
Maybe even the second one.
Yeah.
There's a paycheck.
But none of them quite capture the same magic that the first one had.
No.
And quite a while ago, there were the rumors from the Sony leaks and the emails that they were going to combine 21 Jump Street with Men in Black and have them, instead of go undercover and be part of Men in Black and do all that stuff. I would be totally up for that happening. But if they were going to kind of ignore that and just do, okay, we're just going to do Men in Black reboot or Men in Black 4 with a new group of recruits or whatever, depends who they got. Like, I'm not...
I don't want to see the same story
it.
again.
Yeah.
I don't want to see an old agent recruiting the new young hotshot to take over.
Yeah.
And, you know, just another situation where the planet's under attack. I really would like either make a fourth one, because when Will Smith is good, I love Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Get him dedicated, and if he's not going to do it, if you're going to restart, then do the Jump Street thing.
Yeah.
And it is 100% possible, for those who didn't know, part of the Sony leaks, they were going to do a crossover movie with the Jump Street guys becoming part of Men in Black. That has potential to be hilarious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know where the Jump Street franchise goes.
Yeah.
From this point, we know that they're going to make a third movie. That's known, but that the Phil Lord and Chris Miller are not going to be coming back for it.
I thought they were involved in some...
I think they're going to produce
producing it? Okay.
Executive produce it, but they're busy doing the Han Solo movie. So
that's true.
they're not going to be doing that. So we've known that it's going to happen. That's in development. Nothing else is known. Now we know that there's more Men in Black in development. That's straight from the producers. And so could those both be the same thing?
But see, then my concern comes in, would we want that crossover without the two of them involved? Like, because they, like, you know,
they are a driving force. You know,
like, I can
let me put it this way.
Okay.
Do you want a Lego Movie 2 that they're not directing?
No.
You don't want it at all. They are involved in that too. And
my problem is I don't think the Lego Movie needs a sequel.
Okay.
I think it's fine the way it is.
Yeah.
If it comes out, I'll see it. Again, it's same thing with Jump Street. Like, they're such a driving force behind it, and it's their kind of spirit and their sense of humor that really goes into it. In the wrong hands, I could see like a movie, you know, taking a wrong turn, or Jump Street becoming just another kind of generic R-rated something just...
It definitely has potential. But I think at the same time, the chemistry and the chops behind those two leads, Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, just the idea of seeing them, the way that they play off each other, the way they improvise, and then you add in all the aliens and stuff.
No, I think
that could be great. As long as they kept the R rating, that would be key. If they try and do it PG-13 because it's a Men in Black movie, that would be lame. Yeah. Especially without the Millers. Real quick while we're talking about the Millers, because these guys, they're great. Right? Everything they've done, it's hilarious. It's a lot of times movies that you think have no business being good, and they make them great.
I had zero expectations for 20 Jump. I think a lot of people had zero expectations.
Zero expectations.
Great.
Didn't have much expectations for the Lego Movie. Didn't have any expectations for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Everything across the board, great. But everything that they make is very funny. What are they going to do with Han Solo? It's exciting to me that they have the chance, but I'm also it's a little curious.
I mean, I could see them because playing off of his, like, you know, just snark and kind of that aspect of Han Solo.
Yeah, they'll nail that.
Yeah.
Whoever they get is going to nail that. Hopefully, you know, maybe it's Chris Pratt, maybe it's not. I'm not worried about that element of it, but what I am worried about is visually, the Jump Street movies are not super impressive. Because they don't need to be. But my counter-argument within my own head is, well, look at what the Russos did, coming from Community and directing You, Me, and Dupree, and then doing Winter Soldier, and now Civil War, and then Avengers 3 and 4. So we'll see. Just a quick aside there, but we're probably getting the new Men in Black trilogy because nothing can be just one movie.
No, you
gotta lay out your benchmarks over the next 18 years.
You gotta have, there's gonna be a cinematic universe of Men in Black, and it'll probably cross over with Ghostbusters and
I hope
something else. And
I mean, it would be. I mean,
show whatever.
Those are all at Sony, right? Ghostbusters, Jump Street, and that. Why not cross them all over?
Just have one giant mess of all
the
three
Sony
of these.
comedy universe.
Yeah.
Why not? All right. So our last story of the week, and this is one that I know that we disagree on.
Okay.
Okay. So Ridley Scott has been, again, for The Martian, going around, and his next movie is going to be Prometheus 2. and we now know the title of this movie.
We do.
And it is not Prometheus 2. It is Alien, Paradise Lost. So a few things immediately sprung to mind when I heard this. One, they don't trust the Prometheus name.
No.
Two, this has to connect more to the Alien franchise than Prometheus did. You are calling it an Alien movie, literally.
Yeah. I mean, and before this report came out, 2 days before, there was a interview with him talking about Prometheus, the future of Prometheus, saying, well, we're not going to actually connect it to Alien until part 3 or part 4. Also meaning he has 3 sequels planned for this movie. And I like the movie. I don't think there needs to be a Prometheus 4.
I don't like that they're plotting 3 movies ahead on a sequel that probably shouldn't even be happening.
Yeah.
From a financial standpoint, Prometheus did not blow up the world. It's amazing that they're getting a sequel. And the fact that you're telling me that some of the good stuff, some of what might interest me, might not be for 2 movies that might not even happen. I hate that. I hate that they do that.
Yeah.
I really do. It makes me angry. Like Marvel movies can do that because they know they're going to get to that point because they don't have flops. Prometheus 2 might not make money. And then we'll never get to that.
That's not Prometheus 2.
Right.
Alien, Paradise Lost.
So the other initial question I had from this is, for those who don't know, there's been Fox has also been developing a 5th Alien movie, a true sequel to Alien Resurrection, thank God.
No, it's supposed to ignore...
Okay, right.
It's a sequel to Aliens, and it ignores Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection.
A true sequel to Aliens, right, that ignores the 3rd and the 4th, which I'm not entirely okay with.
Yeah.
Alien Resurrection obviously has a ton of issues. Alien 3?
I like Alien.
I like Alien 3, exactly. But anyway, Blomkamp was going to make a true sequel featuring Ellen Ripley. How about that? And I don't know what's going to happen in that movie because it was already, Ridley Scott already said that he doesn't want that happening until after the Prometheus sequel at least. And so they pushed it, right? What happens now? Like, what happens now that this movie is called Alien? If that does bad, are they even going to make another movie called Alien because this was called Alien? I'm not nuts about that. I was never crazy about Blomkamp actually making that movie because I don't like him, but I was excited about another movie featuring Ellen Ripley and whoever else they had be involved. But you're excited for this, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like I said before, I like Prometheus. It's got its flaws. I enjoyed it. But the fact that they've gone from, within days, saying, we're not going to touch Alien until part 4, part 3 or part 4, and then turning and saying, well, no, we're going to call Prometheus 2 Alien Paradise. Like, clearly they don't have their shit together.
I think that he doesn't have his shit together.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott. I think that he does this a lot. I mean, there were years and years after Gladiator came out, a movie that he directed, where he was talking about the sequel to that. Which, first of all, if ever a movie didn't need a sequel, it's Gladiator. Great, I love Gladiator, but spoiler alert, there's not a Gladiator at the end of that movie. We didn't need a sequel. But he was still talking about it. He just talks about things. He's one of those guys. We talked about last week, Guillermo del Toro was talking about things that just never actually come to fruition. Maybe some of it is to spur interest and gauge interest, but I don't know what Ridley Scott was thinking in that first interview. The second, now we know this movie is called or Alien Paradise Lost.
So it better damn well have a connection to...
Yeah, we'll see. I think that what they should have done is made it what are they called? The observer,
the engineers?
The engineers. Be it the origin of the engineers. They're in high school and they go to Prometheus. That's what they should have. I would have watched that movie. You don't want to see that?
You're done.
You don't want to see Prometheus? If you want to see Prometheus, let me know.
You leave in the comments and you can talk all about Prometheus and what would happen, all the hijinks the engineers get into.
But that's the big stories for this week.
Great.
That's our top 5.